I did this painting in around 1994, and it was one of my first oil paints, an experiment with oil paints. And I was expressing myself in a way, asking like, who am I really, and what's in my consciousness? And you can see here that there was this seeking for the divine feminine. So you can see this beautiful woman in very soft white paint. And so she was in the center of my consciousness, dominating my quest for who I am. So I wrote this poem. This is not my poem. It comes from an ancient history book. But it says, I am not of this world, for it is not sufficient to explain me. I do not come from earth, and I am going elsewhere. Where? So this is the question, and it's a very ancient question. It's called the mystery of Psyche. So Psyche was the Greek goddess of the mind, and it invokes the question, where did I come from? So I would like to explain that in a mathematical sense. When we inquire the true nature of our being, who we really are, we could say, is it a 0? Or really, is it a 1? What's the difference between a 0, which is the nothing yet everything? In India, they call it the Bindu, or it's a creation, the container of all. And it could also be the infinity, because at the end of this question, we're going to ask, is our destiny to attain an infinity, or is it to go back to the source or the nothing? So we can ask a question, what is 0? And out of the 0, a consciousness, we could say that out of the center point here, out of the center point of 0, a spark emanates, and the 1 is born. Is the 1 a god or goddess? Is the 1 a sovereign being? When we say, I am a person, I have a consciousness, I am the 1. And let's just say here that 1 is an expression of godhood. And God has no gender. If you meet anyone that says God is a he, walk away, because a God cannot have a God is all things, male and female. So let's say that there is a God in the beginning, the 1, which is sovereignty. 1 represents power, beginnings, right? So here we are at our beginning. Now for God to understand its own nature, we assume that God had to duplicate itself. So we can say that the 1 became the 1. Now if this is true, because this is just a mathematical journey, an inquiry into our very nature, did the 1 become the 1? So I would put a question mark there. Oh, sorry, I think the white is much better. So we started off with the 0, a spark became the 1, which is an entity, a God. And did the 1 become the 1? This is our question. So I'm going to say we don't really know. We're looking for our beginning. So mathematically we can say that the 1 became the 1. And if this is true, to be in the present moment, we have to absorb the feedback from all previousness. So we need to say that the 0 and the 1 became the 1. So the 1 became the 1, and then to understand its own creation by duplicating itself, the 1 added the 1 to become the 2. So now we have a progression of a journey of being, that we started from the 0, became the 1. The 1 duplicated itself, and when the 1 duplicated itself, there's one being intersecting with another being, and you can see that that's called the Vesica Pisces. That's when we become separated from God. But within this duality and this separation, we can see that there's 3 points. There's the 2 center points, and there's the point up here. So this became the triangle. I'll shade that in. So that triangle, the Trinity, is the sum of 1 and 2 became 3. And this progression of the past plus the present becomes the future. This Trinity, the 2 plus the 3 becomes the 5, is kind of the story of how we progressed in life. So what's so special about 5? 5 is the 5-pointed star. And then we can say the 3 plus the 5 is the 8. And the 8 is all about octaves in music. The fundamental theory of music and vibration is that after the 7 notes, the 8th repeats, and the the cycle of octaves goes to infinity. So now we have this story that we started from nothing, yet we're continually evolving and emerging as we grow. So does the center point here go back to the beginning? This is the mystery of Psyche. Where did I come from? Who am I really? Am I the nothing, or am I everything? Or am I all these stepping stones in between? And that's why we need mathematics. Mathematics is a universal language that helps us to explain the beginning of creation.